wipe it down, wipe, 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 wipe it down, wipe, 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 wipe it down, wipe it down, wipe it down, wipe, wipe it down, wipe.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Hey guys, on location here, one of my favorite places to just come and be in the presence of God, and that is Nolte State Park. When I'm in nature, a lot of times I connect really well with God, and truly I come here a lot to get alone with Jesus. I just connect well here. And I think part of that is nature, and in that I can see the Lord, His activity in that. And that brings me really to where we're going today. Jesus is here, and he says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. A lot of scholars will look at the Beatitudes and see them as sort of like two sides to a mountain. On one side, you have blessed are the poor in spirit, those who mourn, and the meek. And on the other side, across from blessed are those who are poor in spirit, you would see what we talked about last week, blessed are those who are merciful. And the reason why they connect them is obviously you think that you can't be merciful unless you've been poor in spirit. You know what you've been forgiven of, and then we can enact true mercy. And here we're going on today. So this blessed are those who mourn, and then you hear blessed are those who are pure in heart. We mourn because of our sin that has separated us from God, and that we took the grace of God and set it to the side and chose other things in life. And here we are in this place of pure in heart, and we want to discover, what does that really mean? And so this is what he says, blessed are the pure in heart. Heart. The gospel, let me just say this, the gospel is about the heart. We had a sin problem, a heart condition, and Jesus was that answer. Think about this. Every single problem in the world today, no matter what you can list, no matter what situation, you're in your home, our world, in the United States, the political realm, and you look at all the problems in there, and what we can see, we can point back to this. If you trace it back, I promise you, it'll come back to a heart issue. It's a heart issue. Blessed are the pure in heart. So what does it mean to be pure? I think there's two things that I would like to point out here that it means. That word pure a lot of times means that we are undivided, that our heart is solely God. So when he says blessed are the pure in heart, he's talking about the whole being. He's not talking about just the heart or just the mind. He's talking about the whole being. Jesus is calling us to live surrendered to him. He's saying, my disciples will be in this process of becoming like me and surrendering to me. That's the invitation. The other thing it means is blessed are the pure in heart, is that it means cleansed. And thank God that Jesus has washed us clean. The only way that my heart can be pure in this life, in this time, is only through the blood of Jesus. It's his righteousness that I get to take on. And so that is where I'm in this already and not yet place where I've been cleansed of my sin and forgiven here, but yet there's still a real flesh, and then I'm struggling and working to be holy God's, holy his. And so you kind of get both definitions, those two items of being one single-minded and the other of being cleansed. So now that you've heard the definition of what pure in heart means, I think we come back to this place of asking this question. It's because it really is important what is in our hearts and how we begin to walk this life out with God. So let me ask you this. What is your supreme desire? What is your supreme desire? You can stop right now and just talk about that. I know the good Christian answer, and I think a lot of times it's true. Like, I truly do want Jesus, but if I would really go deep in my heart, there's a lot of times I say yes, I want Jesus, and then there's something else that I think is going to bring some sort of fulfillment or happiness. Now that you've had a chance to wrestle with that question, your supreme desire, I want to kind of go back to the statement here, and this is what David Martin Lloyd Jones says. He says, the whole object of Christianity is to bring us into a vision of God, to see God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So what does it mean to see God? Well, when we are working and we are almost realizing, beginning to understand the beauty of God and what He's done for us, we mourn over our sin because it's the thing that has caused distance, right? We kind of talked about the connection there. When we are single-minded, when our whole being is being surrendered to God, what happens in those moments? Well, I'll tell you what happens is that we become aware of God's presence and His relationship with us. And I think the second thing, when we come to blessed are the pure in heart and they shall see God, and we're talking about they shall see God here, is, one is the knowing a relationship, but second, I think that we're really beginning to imagine or live in light of eternity in heaven with God. That's one of the biggest motivators in our walk with Jesus is not only the gracious and the love and the care that He's given us, but it's also the fact that He gives us a promise of a future in heaven with Him and a relationship with Him. And so I think when we begin to catch a vision of that God is refining us in this here and now moment for the future, that would mean that in our design, God has created us to be in the audience. He's created us to have a special place to be in His presence forever and ever and ever. We were created for His presence. That's sick. That is amazing. And that's where we are today. We talk about pure in heart, being single-minded, and we shall see God. Yes, today, sense His presence, walk with Him, but also for eternity, being with God forever. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.